Picture this: the quiet emptiness of a late-night road. The only sound is the low hum of tires rolling over the smooth asphalt, an almost serene backdrop to the night. But that peaceful atmosphere is suddenly broken by the screech of tires as two cars collide. The sharp impact reverberates through the air, disrupting the calm in an instant. The driver of one of the cars steps out, shaken but unharmed. Frustration mixes with the routine response. He reaches for his phone, preparing to document the accident for insurance purposes. It's the kind of thing anyone would do after a minor collision, right? But as he approaches the damage, something feels off. Another figure, emerging from the shadows, steps toward him. There's an eerie calm in the air, a sense that this is no ordinary encounter. The stranger's face is obscured, and the tension between them thickens with every step the stranger takes. Without warning, the atmosphere shifts from confusion to danger. In the blink of an eye, the encounter takes a dark turn, and the night that started off so calm becomes a scene of violence. What was initially an unfortunate accident suddenly becomes the catalyst for something much larger, a chain of events that will bring together an honest cop, a dangerous criminal, and a mysterious figure who hides behind shadows and chaos. Meet Young Tae-suk, portrayed by Kim Woo-yeol, a detective who embodies the very essence of dedication. He's not just any cop. He's the kind who doesn't clock out when the day ends. Tae-suk has a sharp eye for details others might miss, and an instinct that guides him to the truth, even when it's buried under layers of deception. When Tae-suk arrives at a particularly grisly crime scene, the air feels different. Something about it sends a chill down his spine. The evidence, the way it all unfolds, it doesn't add up to random violence. To Tae-suk, this has the distinct marks of a methodical killer, someone who thrives on control and precision. But here's the catch: his superiors don't share his vision. To them, it's just another case in a city drowning in crime. They dismiss Tae-suk's concerns as overthinking, brushing off his theory like a stray thread on a suit. Yet Tae-suk's resolve is unshakable. He knows he's onto something, and he won't let the bureaucracy or indifference of others deter him. At the same time, Tae-suk is juggling another high-stakes investigation, this one involving Jang Dong-soo, a feared and infamous gangster played by Ma Dong-seok. Dong-soo isn't just your average thug. He's a man of influence, someone who knows how to play the system. His bribes have reached deep into the ranks of authority, even touching Tae-suk's own superiors. For Tae-suk, it's personal. Bringing Dong-soo to justice would be a career-defining victory, a chance to prove that corruption doesn't always win. But the path ahead is anything but straightforward. Fate has a way of weaving together the lives of the determined and the dangerous, forcing alliances where there should be rivalry, and uncovering truths neither side is ready for. The question is, will Tae-suk's relentless pursuit of justice be enough when the stakes climb higher than ever before? And what happens when two men from opposite sides of the law are drawn into a battle against an even darker force? Let's dive into the world of Jang Dong-soo, brought to life by Ma Dong-seok. He's not just another player in the underworld, he's the player. A man whose name alone commands both fear and respect. Dong-soo built his empire on grit, power, and an unshakable determination to stay at the top. For years, he's managed to navigate the treacherous waters of the criminal world, outsmarting rivals and keeping his enemies at bay. But power comes with its own set of challenges, and Dong-soo knows this all too well. After a tense negotiation with a rival gang over territorial lines, a meeting where tempers flared and alliances were tested, he drives home, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. Maintaining dominance in a world as cutthroat as his requires constant calculation, and Dong-soo is always one step ahead. Or so he thinks. Out of the darkness, a vehicle hurtles toward him, slamming into his car with brutal force. The crash is sudden and jarring, shaking Dong-soo to his core. But this isn't just a random accident. There's intent behind it, a chilling precision that sets his instincts on edge. Before he can fully grasp what's happening, the other driver emerges, a figure cloaked in shadows, moving with an eerie confidence. Dong-soo, a man who has faced countless threats in his line of work, quickly realizes this isn't a typical roadside confrontation. What follows is an intense struggle. one that pushes Dong-soo to his limits. He's no stranger to physical combat. His fists have built his empire as much as his strategies. But this time, it's different. His opponent isn't just strong. There's something unsettling about their movements, as if each strike is calculated, almost inhuman. Dong-soo fights back with everything he has, drawing on years of experience and sheer willpower. By the time the encounter ends, Dong-soo is left battered and bruised, barely clinging to life. His opponent? Gone. Like a ghost disappearing into the night. The attack leaves him with more questions than answers. Who was this mysterious figure, and why did they come after him? For the first time in a long time, Dong-soo feels a crack in his armor. But if there's one thing he's known for, it's turning setbacks into opportunities. As he recuperates, his mind is already working, piecing together the puzzle of the attack. One thing is certain: this isn't over. Dong-soo doesn't just survive, he retaliates, and whoever dared to cross him is about to learn why he's called the Gangster. This encounter marks the beginning of a journey that will test Dong-soo in ways he's never imagined, forcing him to confront not only external threats, but also the limits of his own power. As Dong-soo lies in the hospital, recovering from wounds that cut deeper than the surface, his mind is racing. This wasn't just a random act of violence. It was calculated, deliberate. His men, loyal but impulsive, are quick to point fingers at rival gangs. After all, gangland feuds are as common as rain. But Dong-soo knows better. The attack didn't feel like a power move. It felt different. Meanwhile, Tae-suk, relentless and sharp-eyed, steps into the hospital room. The detective has pieced enough together to sense a link between Dong-soo's ordeal and the string of brutal crimes he's investigating. For Tae-suk, the case isn't just about solving murders, it's about stopping a shadowy figure who thrives on chaos. Tae-suk lays out his plan to Dong-soo, though the idea is as improbable as it is audacious. He proposes an alliance, a temporary partnership between two men whose lives couldn't be more different. On paper, it's a non-starter, a cop who lives by the law and a gangster who thrives by bending it. But desperation has a way of bending the rules. At first, Dong-soo is dismissive. He doesn't trust cops, especially one as straight-laced as Tae-suk, and justice, that's not his game. This attack isn't just a crime to him, it's an insult, a blow to his pride and the reputation he's spent years building. He's not looking for someone to arrest the attacker. He's looking for someone to bury him. Still, Tae-suk is persistent, and Dong-soo, despite himself, sees the practicality in the offer. With his own network of men and resources, he can work faster than law enforcement ever could. But he's not about to hand over the killer on a silver platter. After a tense back and forth, the two strike an uneasy truce. Dong-soo agrees to lend his influence and manpower to the hunt, but with one critical condition: whoever finds the killer first gets to decide his fate. For Tae-suk, that means arresting the perpetrator and bringing him to justice. For Dong-soo, it's about exacting revenge, no matter what it takes. Thus, a precarious partnership is born. Two men, driven by entirely different motivations, now find themselves bound by a common goal. As the hunt begins, the tension between them is palpable. Every lead, every clue brings them closer to their target, but also closer to a clash of ideologies. This isn't just a chase, it's a battle of wills. And with the stakes as high as they are, the question looms: when the time comes, who will get to the killer first? And what will happen when they do? Dong-soo's network springs into action, combing every corner of the city for signs of the mysterious attacker. These men, as loyal as they are ruthless, uncover a critical lead: the killer's abandoned car. Inside, they find a chilling piece of evidence: a blood-stained knife. It's not just a weapon. It's a calling card, proof that the attacker isn't just a random thug, he's a predator with a pattern. At the same time, Tae-suk is connecting the dots. The knife links to a series of unsolved murders, strengthening his theory that they're dealing with a calculating serial killer. This isn't just about one act of violence, it's part of a larger, darker scheme. For a moment it seems like they're closing in on their target, but then everything takes a sharp turn. Frustrated by the slow grind of investigation and driven by his need to reassert dominance, Dong-soo makes a bold move. He uses the killer's knife in an attack on a rival gang leader, setting the stage to frame them. It's a dangerous gamble, one that sends shockwaves through the criminal underworld and complicates Tae-suk's investigation. Tae-suk is livid. For the detective, this isn't just reckless, it's sabotage. By stirring up gang warfare, Tae-suk has thrown the investigation into chaos, jeopardizing their fragile alliance. But Tae-suk doesn't care about protocol or justice. In his mind, control is everything. He's spent years building his empire, and he's not about to let some shadowy figure, or a cop, tear it apart. As tensions escalate, the partnership between Tae-suk and Dong-soo grows even more strained. Their methods couldn't be more different, and the line between ally and adversary becomes increasingly blurred. Still, one thing is clear. The killer is out there, and he's not waiting for them to sort out their differences. The hunt intensifies, and with every step forward, the stakes get higher. In this deadly game, there's no room for hesitation, and no one, cop or gangster, is safe. Meanwhile, the killer isn't slowing down. His next move? A staged kidnapping designed to extort money from a grieving wife. Tae-suk sets up a sting operation, hoping to finally catch the elusive murderer. But the killer is always one step ahead. A high-speed chase ensues, ending with the killer escaping yet again. Tae-suk is left with nothing but frustration and the nagging realization that they're running out of time. As the investigation heats up, the fragile alliance between Tae-suk and Dong-soo begins to crack. Dong-soo's methods grow increasingly reckless, and Tae-suk struggles to keep him in line. When Dong-soo discovers the killer's identity, Kang Kyung-ho, a man presumed missing, he takes matters into his own hands. A violent showdown leads to Kyung-ho's capture, but the victory is short-lived. Kang Kyung-ho escapes, leaving behind more destruction and death. The final confrontation is nothing short of explosive. After a tense chase, Dong-soo and Tae-suk finally corner Kyung-ho. Dong-soo, fueled by rage, beats the killer mercilessly, but Tae-suk intervenes, arresting him before Dong-soo can deliver the killing blow. But even with Kyung-ho in custody, justice remains elusive. There's no concrete evidence to convict him, and the case threatens to fall apart. That's when Dong-soo steps up, testifying against Kyung-ho and sealing his fate. Kyung-ho is sentenced to death, but Dong-soo pays a price for his crimes. He's arrested and sent to prison. But in a chilling twist, Tae-suk arranges for Dong-soo to be transferred to the same prison as Kyung-ho. In the film's final moments, we see Kyung-ho in the prison showers, unaware of the danger lurking behind him. Dong-soo approaches, a rope in hand and a sinister smile on his face. The screen fades to black, leaving us with a haunting question. What is true justice? And in a world filled with violence and corruption, who really wins?